Yeah, slightly not what you were looking for, I can kind of imagine. But, I mean, it was a good season by the Niners overall, especially considering everything that happened. Like, I'm going to be mad if Kyle Shanahan doesn't win Coach of the Year because,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I don't think he will because of the
Yeah.
way that the world votes.
Ben
But
Johnson probably.
meh. But I'm from Michigan. I'm
Oh
from
no,
Michigan, so-
I know, yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I like Ben Johnson. I was just being silly. But I think if you're talking about pure coaching job, I don't think anyone did better than
No,
Kyle.
I'm with you on that one. So for an 8.5-hour pregame show, how many different projections or simulations are you running for the Super Bowl?
Well, I run 1 million for each regular game, and then for the playoff games, I run 2 million. For the Super Bowl, because I have more time, I run 3 million. It doesn't really change very much, but it's just more fun that way.
No, I get it. So what actually goes in the process of when you run these projections?
So a lot of it is tendency analysis, and it is really the probability of earning a first down or touchdown on a drive or each drive or stopping it if you're the defense. And you use doppelganger. So you say teams that look like this and function like this against defenses that look like this or function like this, and then you run it like a Madden simulation a million times with those different kind of doppelganger situations.
And I called, by the way, I called her the reporter. She's the NFL Network's analytics expert.
Yes.
I should have clarified that.
Listen,
important to say.
only get that title because it's hard to say analytics analyst.
Yes.
You get real
there.
tripped up on that one.
Easy
So
there.
Good one with the models. You know what I mean?
There we go. There we go.
We got to get to the models.
So what does your latest projection say about the Super Bowl?
My model really likes the Seahawks. I spent a lot of time getting a master's degree and spending way too many hours measuring offensive linemen.
Yes.
So with offensive line play being what it is, especially because even though Will Campbell says he's feeling a little bit better, I don't care about his short arms. I do care about his health, right? And I'm curious to see when it comes to his health in this matchup. He said he was feeling better in that Denver game, but that was like in the snow, and I'm not really sure, and whatever. So I'm curious. But Morgan Moses has had some issues too. So O-line play, the trenches are something that really is a big determining factor for me.
Talking to Cynthia Frelund here, nice enough to join us at Radio Row. We were just talking to Jeff Schwartz, and he was talking about how he thinks, because we've seen so much of an increase in going for it on fourth down and not taking the points.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Is that true? Are we seeing that?
So, yeah, but but here's the thing. When you hear broadcasters say, like the analytics say, like, let's talk about the Broncos game.
Term,
okay?
Yes,
let's talk about the Broncos game.
Sean Payton.
Okay? The analytics didn't say to go for it. Number one, there isn't only one analytics. There is my analytics versus your analytics versus Broncos analytics versus Seahawks analytics, whatever.
Right.
So everyone has their own. Think of it as like a recipe. They're all making chocolate chip cookies, but mine has more sugar and yours has more flour or whatever, right?
Right.
We all make a cookie, but at the end, but how we get there is different.
Sure.
Right. So everyone's analytics are different. Number one. Number two, just because the higher probability event says to go for X doesn't mean you have to do it.
Right.
It's just saying whether you're just laying the table stakes, like, am I taking the higher probability or lower probability situation here? And do I have a good reason for taking the lower probability one, yes or no? And sometimes the answer is, I'm playing with a backup quarterback. I feel like gambling because I don't know if I'm going to be down in this red area again.
Right.
So I'm just going to go do this because 6 is worth more than 3 to me. But that doesn't mean that the analytics say that that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
It means that's what his brain says. So it drives me crazy. All analytics happens to be. I'm getting very worked up here.
No, but it's good. It's good.
But it's just helping the quality of your decisions and knowing when you're making a contrarian decision or when you're making a higher probability decision.
So that was my next question: is have you tracked or do they track which coaches more often play to the higher probability decision?
Yes.
Do we know?
And by the way, a lot of those, again, Michigan. Dan Campbell goes for it on fourth down a lot when he's not supposed to.
Yeah.
When there was a pretty important game against the darn Niners where he made some weird fourth down decisions but you have to remember, there's psychology and then there's analytics.
Right.
If you say my identity is to go for it on fourth down and then you tell them I don't believe in you anymore, now you're messing with people's emotions. I can't measure that, but I would imagine the psychology of that feels different than if you have something like, okay, well, we're going to do this in the first quarter because whatever, and I trust you guys. Let's go get it.
I don't call you Dan Gamble because you play safe. No.
But I think a lot of head coaches go off of feel. I think Kyle Shanahan does. I think Sean Payton does that. And
you should do that.
Absolutely.
But you should know when you should also know when you're messed up. Because sometimes my emotions, I am a human. I'm Kyle Shanahan for a second. Let's say I'm a genius. But, like, and sometimes my emotions are not right.
No, absolutely. So
everyone gets that way.
Going back to Dan Campbell, I know you're a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Do you separate yourself as an analytics expert when you watch that and you're like, I think Dan's going crazy today, where he doesn't he doesn't need to go for it on fourth down the whole game against the Packers or 2 years ago against the NFC Championship game against the Niners?
The Niners one I can forgive a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because that was their whatever.
That's what they did that year. Yeah.
That was their identity. So,
right.
But the stuff this year, the Dan Campbell stuff this year that I was mad about was losing to the frickin' Vikings with J.J. McCarthy. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no reason for that. Like, you have to win the games you're supposed to win. And if you lose because in the NFC Championship game, a game that you weren't supposed to win, that you do something and it ends up being the wrong decision, that's different. Sure, you at halftime it doesn't feel great. Like, as a fan, you're like, oh, I'm sad. But the reality is that's a much different situation than a mid-season game where you're just horrible play call. You're allowing someone to keep making bad play calls against J.J. McCarthy. And I'm not no shade on J.J. McCarthy, but there's no reason he comes back from an injury, and there's no reason they should have won that game.
No, there's not. There's really not. Cynthia Frelund, the voice you hear, NFL Network analytics
the angry
expert.
Voice you hear.
The angry voice you hear. She's the
reasonable voice.
Analytics analyst expert. We'll throw that in there too.
Right.
Thanks so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, anytime. And by the way, I love San Francisco. I'm a big I'm from Michigan, Barry Sanders, the whole thing. But I always, you can't not. I'm going to be mad on Thursday, tomorrow, whenever that is, when Christian McCaffrey doesn't win league MVP, because if you would like it to be a quarterback award, call it that. But who's more valuable than him this year?
There's nobody. The most touches, over 2,000 total yards. What do you have,
413 touches after being, very injured last year. And who else on the team played?
That was it.
Almost 1,000, and no one's ever done that twice in their career. So,
and by the way, I think he finished the year with a total of, it was either 4 or 5 runs over 20.
Yeah. Well, just to make I'm preempting my anger. It's the same way I feel about Bill Belichick not making the Hall of Fame.
I get you.
Why are we? If you'd like it to be a quarterback award, call it that.
Most to be a Hall of Fame, put him in. Yeah, what are we doing?
Well, all these things.
And I don't even think Chris is going to win Offensive Player of the Year. I think it's going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I think
if they settle for Comeback Player of the Year, I'm going to punch someone.
Yeah, that's probably the award he's getting. Yeah,
a pillow in my bedroom.
At least would be a true Comeback Player of the Year, because there are some that really infuriate me.
I just don't like that award.
I don't either.
It was fun when it was Joe Flacco that one year, and because he was 100, didn't remember everyone's name. He did that thing that I do at radio, where I was like, "Oh, good to see you."
Yeah, exactly.
But on the sideline with people, I loved that. But that was fun at least. But no, Christian McCaffrey is your MVP, and I will not recognize anyone else. I'm sorry. I love Drake May. He's great. I love Matthew Stafford. He's also great. Whatever. Who was more valuable to their team than Christian McCaffrey?
Nobody.
The answer is no one. Sorry, we're going over on your
12
time.
No, you're good.
No,
Cynthia Frelund, you can catch her at the 8.5-hour edition of NFL.
She won't be this angry on TV.
She got plenty of time. Plenty of time to get out. You'll hear a lot more if McCaffrey doesn't win MVP. Cynthia, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you. Dirty Work rolls on here from Radio Row here in San Francisco at the Moscone Convention Center.